Urgent scam alert. Thousands of debit card users are losing money right now through a new wave of payment fraud. Here's what you need to know before your next.
You swipe your debit card, the transaction goes through. Everything looks completely normal. But somewhere in the background, a scammer already has everything they need. Your card number, your account access, sometimes even your PIN. And the terrifying part is that you may not discover the theft until days later, when your account balance suddenly drops and the money is already gone. Most people imagine financial fraud as something obvious. A suspicious email, a strange phone call, a hacker breaking into a bank account. But today's criminals operate differently. They hide inside ordinary moments that seem completely harmless. A crowded train ride, a quick payment between friends, a text message that looks exactly like it came from your bank, a parking meter on a busy street corner. These scams are engineered to blend into everyday life so perfectly that victims often participate willingly without realizing they are being targeted. Consider what happens during a contactless relay attack. You are commuting to work, standing shoulder to shoulder with strangers. Your debit card remains safely inside your wallet. Nobody steals it. Nobody even touches it. Yet a criminal standing nearby uses hidden equipment to capture payment information and process unauthorized charges. Hours later, they disappear while your account begins quietly losing money. Then there is the accidental refund trap. Imagine receiving money from a stranger through a payment app. Moments later, they send a desperate message claiming they made a mistake and urgently need the funds returned. Most people want to help. Most people believe they are doing the right thing. But what if that original payment was fake? What if the money vanishes days later while the refund you sent comes directly from your own checking account? Suddenly, kindness becomes the weapon used against you. And then comes the scam that frightens even experienced banking customers. Your phone vibrates. A fraud alert appears displaying your bank's exact name. It asks if you authorized a suspicious transaction. Panic sets in immediately. Seconds later, a professional-sounding representative calls from what appears to be your bank's official number. Everything feels legitimate. Everything feels safe. Until your account is emptied. But perhaps the most shocking scam starts with something as simple as parking your car. You're running late. The parking meter directs you to scan a QR code. The website looks authentic. The payment amount is only a few dollars. You complete the transaction and walk away believing everything is fine. Meanwhile, criminals now possess the financial information needed to begin draining your account. And this is only the beginning. Because the scams you've seen so far still require criminals to trick you from a distance. What comes next is even more dangerous. The next frauds convince ordinary people to move their own money, surrender their own savings, and unknowingly become active participants in their own financial destruction. By now, you might be thinking these scams only work on careless people. People who ignore warning signs. People who never pay attention. But that assumption is exactly what makes the next wave of fraud so dangerous. These criminals are not targeting ignorance. They are targeting human emotion. Fear, trust, urgency. And once those emotions take control, even intelligent, cautious people can make decisions they never imagined possible. Imagine answering a phone call from your bank's fraud department. The representative sounds professional. They know your name. They know where you bank. They even reference recent transactions that only your bank should know about. Then they deliver devastating news. Hackers have breached your account. Your savings could disappear within hours. Fortunately, they have a solution. They instruct you to transfer your money into a protected holding account until the threat is eliminated. Everything sounds official. Everything sounds reasonable. But there is no protected account. The money is being transferred directly to criminals. By the time the victim realizes the truth, their life savings have already vanished. As frightening as that sounds, artificial intelligence has created an even more disturbing threat. Your phone rings late at night. The caller ID shows your son's name. The voice on the other end sounds exactly like him. He sounds terrified. He claims he was involved in a serious accident and urgently needs financial help. Every instinct tells you this is your child. Every emotion pushes you toward immediate action. But the voice is not real. Criminals can now clone voices using only a few seconds of audio collected from social media videos. The technology has become so convincing that many victims never question what they hear until it is too late. Then there are the fake customer support systems appearing online. You search for help after receiving a damaged order or experiencing a billing problem. The website looks authentic. The chat representative responds instantly. They answer every question perfectly. The conversation feels more professional than many real customer service interactions. Yet the entire exchange is controlled by advanced artificial intelligence designed for one purpose: collecting your financial information. The moment you provide your card details, the scammers have what they need. Even physical payment systems are vulnerable. You walk up to an ATM or checkout terminal and everything appears normal. But hidden over the keypad is a thin, fraudulent layer designed to capture every number you type. Your card works. The transaction completes successfully. You leave without noticing anything unusual. Days later, criminals possess both your card information and your PIN. The frightening reality is that modern scams no longer depend on poor security systems. They depend on manipulating human psychology. And in the next part, you'll see how criminals have moved beyond stealing information. They are now creating real-world traps that follow victims into restaurants, drive-thrus, delivery services, and everyday purchases where almost nobody expects danger. Showing up in places you visit every day, places where you feel comfortable, places where your guard is naturally lowered. That is exactly why these schemes are becoming so successful. Criminals understand that people are far more vulnerable during routine moments than during obvious emergencies. Picture yourself pulling into a fast food drive-thru after a long day. You hand your debit card to the cashier and wait for your order. Everything appears completely normal. Then the employee accidentally drops your card out of sight. A few seconds later, they return it with a smile and your receipt. Most customers would never think twice about it. But those few seconds may have been enough for someone to photograph both sides of your card, capturing every detail needed to make fraudulent purchases later. The card never leaves your possession for long, yet the damage may already be done. Now imagine ordering dinner through a popular delivery app. You already paid online. The driver arrives at your door and explains that the payment system failed. They politely ask you to swipe your debit card using a handheld reader to complete the order. You are hungry, tired, and eager to receive your food. The request sounds reasonable, but that payment device may have nothing to do with the delivery company. It could be collecting your card information while charging you a second time. What feels like a minor inconvenience can become the beginning of a major financial loss. The same strategy appears in subscription renewal scams. An email suddenly arrives warning that a costly service is about to renew automatically. The amount is much higher than expected. Panic takes over. You click the cancellation link immediately because nobody wants an unexpected charge draining their account. The website looks legitimate. The cancellation process seems straightforward. Yet the page is designed solely to collect your banking information before criminals disappear with your data. Perhaps the most alarming development involves direct access to online banking credentials. More retailers are introducing payment systems that allow customers to connect their bank accounts directly at checkout. The process promises convenience and discounts. But cybercriminals understand that if they can intercept those login credentials, they no longer need your debit card. They gain access to the source of the money itself. Within minutes, accounts can be emptied before victims even realize something is wrong. What makes these scams so effective is their simplicity. They do not rely on complicated technology that most people cannot understand. They rely on trust, convenience, and routine behavior. Criminals know that when people feel comfortable, they stop looking for danger. But even these schemes are not the worst of what is happening right now. In the final part, you'll see the scams that give criminals complete control over victims' devices, their finances, and sometimes their entire future. And once those attacks begin, stopping them becomes incredibly difficult. Everything you've seen so far has one thing in common. The scammer is trying to get your information, your trust, or your money. But the final scams take things to an entirely different level. These are the schemes that can give criminals complete control over your finances while making victims feel completely powerless to stop what is happening. Imagine receiving a call from what appears to be a major retailer, software company, or online service. The representative explains that someone has attempted to access your account from another country. They claim they stopped the attack just in time, but your device may still be compromised. Their solution sounds simple. Download a remote support application so their security team can inspect your computer. The instructions sound professional. The software is legitimate. Thousands of businesses use it every day. But the moment you provide access, the scammer gains control of your screen. They can view your passwords, open your banking applications, transfer funds, and even delete evidence of their activity while you watch helplessly. Many victims do not realize they have been robbed until long after the call ends. Then there is the scam built entirely on fear. Your phone rings, and the caller claims to be a law enforcement officer, a government investigator, or a federal agent. They speak with confidence and authority. They claim your identity has been connected to a criminal investigation. They mention arrest warrants, frozen accounts, and severe legal consequences. Fear takes over immediately. Before victims have time to think critically, they are instructed to withdraw money, purchase prepaid cards, or transfer funds to supposedly secure locations. Every step is designed to create panic and eliminate rational decision-making. The criminals understand that frightened people are easier to control. But perhaps the most shocking threat isn't a scammer at all. It's what happens after the money is gone. Many victims believe their bank will automatically reimburse fraudulent losses. Unfortunately, that is not always the case. When debit cards are involved, recovering stolen funds can become a lengthy and frustrating battle. Banks may investigate for weeks or months. Some claims are approved, while others are denied. During that time, victims are left dealing with empty accounts, missed bills, and enormous stress. This is why financial security experts repeatedly emphasize one critical lesson. Debit cards provide direct access to your money. Once funds leave your account, recovering them can be extremely difficult. That is why transaction alerts, strong passwords, two-factor authentication, and careful verification of every unexpected call, text, or email are more important than ever. The biggest misconception about fraud is that victims are careless. In reality, many victims are intelligent, responsible people who simply encountered a scam designed to exploit normal human behavior. Modern criminals do not hack computers first. They hack emotions. They exploit fear, urgency, trust, and distraction. And the best defense is recognizing that anyone can become a target. The moment you believe a scam could never happen to you is often the moment you become most vulnerable.